So imagine for a second, what if you could control a single piece of real estate that lets you keep a close eye on Iran, Russia, and China, all at the same time? Well, that's the incredible prize at the center of a pretty shocking demand from Donald Trump. He wants America to take back a legendary airbase in Afghanistan. And it all kicked off with this one statement. It sounds simple enough, right? But with just those few words, a massive debate was reignited about America's place in Central Asia, its rivalry with China, and, of course, the incredibly chaotic legacy of the Afghanistan withdrawal. This just opens up a whole can of worms, doesn't it? I mean, why Bagram specifically? And why now? Is this even possible? We're going to dive in and try to figure out if this is really about an old airfield, or if it's about something much bigger. Power, money, and maybe even an attempt to rewrite a very painful chapter of history. All right, first things first. To really get why anyone would want Bagram back so badly, you have to understand what it is. And for decades, Bagram wasn't just some base. It was the absolute nerve center of all foreign military power in Afghanistan. When you look at Bagram's history, a pattern just jumps right out at you. It has always been this powerful symbol of occupation, this key strategic chess piece passed from one global superpower to the next. In a way, the story of this one base is the story of foreign intervention in Afghanistan. And make no mistake, we are not talking about some little airstrip here. This place was massive. At its peak, Bagram was basically a sprawling, self-contained American city, home to over 30,000 U.S. troops and contractors. It had everything: hospitals, massive fuel depots, even a Burger King and a Popeyes. So what makes it so valuable? It's really this perfect storm of three things. First, the location. It's geographic gold, sitting right at the crossroads of South and Central Asia. Then you have the infrastructure. We're talking 2-mile-long runways that can handle the biggest military planes on the planet. And for intelligence, it is the perfect perch to watch three of America's biggest rivals. Okay, so we get it. The base is a huge asset. But it's gone. So why the sudden, intense push to get it back? Well, Donald Trump has given one main reason, and it all comes down to a single country: China. So this is the official justification we're hearing. Bagram as a critical watchtower over China's nuclear program. He's framing it as a vital national security issue, a way to keep tabs on a major competitor. But how accurate is that claim, really? And, well, this is where the official story hits a bit of a snag. While Bagram is geographically closer to China, that 1 hour away line, it just doesn't survive a fact check. We're actually talking about a distance of over 2,000 kilometers, which immediately makes you wonder, is this the full story? As you can probably guess, Beijing was not impressed. Their response was swift and it was sharp. They basically called the whole idea a dangerous attempt to stir up trouble in the region, completely shutting down the premise of any new U.S. presence there. So if the main reason we're being given, watching China's nuclear program, is a bit shaky, that suggests there have to be other, probably more powerful motives behind all of this. What's the real story? And this leads us to a really fascinating alternative theory. What if the true prize in Afghanistan isn't about military positioning at all? What if it's about something far more tangible and potentially way more profitable? Get ready for this number: $3 trillion. That's trillion with a T. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, that's the estimated value of Afghanistan's untapped mineral reserves. We're talking huge deposits of iron, copper, gold, and most importantly, the rare earth elements that power our entire modern world. And this quote from an internal Pentagon memo is just, wow. It's incredibly telling. They didn't just know about this mineral wealth. They saw Afghanistan's potential to become the Saudi Arabia of lithium. Lithium is absolutely essential for everything from your smartphone to electric vehicle batteries. It's a huge deal. So when you pull back the curtain, the picture gets so much bigger. It's not just about China. It's about getting access to those critical minerals. It's about having a base to fight terror threats like ISIS-K. And of course, it's about the powerful political story of reversing what many have called a humiliating moment for the U.S. Okay, but even with all these potential reasons, the money, the security, the politics, we have to slam on the brakes for a reality check and ask the biggest question of all, is any of this actually possible? Can the U.S. just go back? Well, the first major wall you hit is the Taliban itself. Their public stance on this is an absolute hard no. A Taliban official put it bluntly, they fought for 20 years to get rid of foreign troops. The idea of inviting them back isn't just unlikely, it's basically unthinkable for them. It's a matter of national sovereignty. So this really leaves only two ways forward, and neither of them looks very promising. You could have a full-blown military reinvasion, which would be incredibly expensive and deeply unpopular back home, or you could try to strike a diplomatic deal with a group that has already said no way.
And this is the ultimate irony in this whole story. The main political and legal roadblock to going back to Bagram is the Doha Agreement, the very deal that the Trump administration itself negotiated. The agreement that required a full U.S. withdrawal is now the single biggest obstacle to reversing it.
So after digging through all of this, what's the bottom line? What is this Bagram Gambit really all about? Look, at the end of the day, this whole push for Bagram isn't just some wishful thinking. It's a symbol for a much, much larger debate about America's future role in the world, about whether it should re-engage in these complex regions to counter its rivals and secure resources, or if it should continue down a path of withdrawal. And that leaves us with the final, crucial question to think about. Is this a serious, genuine attempt to reshape American foreign policy for the future? Or is it a powerful political move, designed to reframe the narrative of the Afghanistan withdrawal for voters back home? The answer to that could very well define American strategy for years to come.